Somewhere under the Gulf Coast, in salt caverns deep enough to swallow skyscrapers, the United States keeps hundreds of millions of barrels of emergency oil. In warehouses at secret locations, it keeps emergency medicine, enough to respond to a national catastrophe. Oil, reserved. Medicine, reserved. Now ask the obvious question. Where's the food? Here's the answer almost nobody in the country knows. There isn't any. There was, for about 70 years. And then, in 2008, the last of it was quietly sold. No headline, no debate you ever heard. The most basic reserve a nation can hold ended with a transaction, not an announcement. This is the story of how that happened, what replaced it, because something did, and it's worse than nothing, and what it quietly turned you into. Run a test. Ask anyone you know. If harvests failed and shelves went thin, what happens? You'll get the same answer everywhere. The government opens the reserves. Somewhere, surely, there are warehouses, grain, stockpiles, a plan. That belief is doing a lot of quiet work in your head right now. It's the reason your pantry holds 4 days of food and doesn't worry you. And that belief is 17 years out of date. I'm Blackout Fox. I turn chaos into contingency plans. Let's open the books. Because here's the thing. The warehouses used to be real. 1938. America had just watched the Dust Bowl turn farmland into sky. The lesson was carved in. Harvests fail, and when they do, you'd better be holding last year's surplus. So the government built what it called the ever-normal granary. Buy grain in fat years, hold it, release it in lean ones. Real wheat, real silos, real insurance. And for decades, that was the American default. Through the 70s and 80s, the government held grain by the millions of tons. So much of it that the complaint was the cost of storage. Farmers held more under the farmer-owned reserve. The system had one job: make sure a bad year was a bad year and not a catastrophe. Then, piece by piece, it was dismantled. Not by villains, by accountants. Storing grain is expensive. Markets, the thinking went, could handle supply now. In 1996, the Farm Bill ended the old reserve programs. One stockpile survived the cuts. A few million bushels of actual wheat, held in a fund called the Bill Emerson Humanitarian Trust, the last physical food the United States government owned. Hold that image, a single remaining granary, because what happens next is the whole video. 2008. Remember the timing. This matters. Food prices were exploding worldwide. Rice, wheat, corn, costs spiking so hard that dozens of countries saw unrest over groceries. It was, by any measure, exactly the kind of year a grain reserve exists for. That's the year the last of the wheat was sold. The Emerson Trust's remaining physical grain went to market, and the trust was converted to what it is today: cash, a fund, a number on a ledger. The United States Emergency Food Reserve became, and remains, a bank account. And on paper, that sounds reasonable. Money is flexible. Money doesn't rot. Money doesn't need silos. Until you think about it for exactly 10 seconds. What happens to food prices in a food crisis? They multiply, which means the cash reserve shrinks in the only moment it exists for. In 2008, wheat prices roughly doubled. The same dollars suddenly bought half the food. They replaced the wheat with the one asset a food emergency burns first. That's not a reserve. That's a bet that the emergency will be polite. And nobody voted on it in any way you noticed. It surfaced in budget lines and Farm Bill fine print, pages deep, where policy goes to happen unwatched. So let's inventory what your country actually reserves right now in physical form. Oil? Yes, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, hundreds of millions of barrels, because fuel is strategic. Medicine? Yes, the Strategic National Stockpile, warehouses of it. There was even a National Helium Reserve. At one point, the government stored so much surplus cheese in Missouri caves that government cheese became a punchline. Food, the thing every human in the country needs 3 times a day? Essentially, 0. The punchline outlasted the granary. Now, some people did notice, just not here. According to USDA-based estimates, China now holds roughly half of the world's stockpiled grain. They've been building reserves for years, deliberately. Switzerland, a country whose whole brand is "nothing bad happens here," legally mandates months of staple reserves inside its borders. Finland stockpiles. The countries that plan for bad years still keep granaries. The country that feeds the world sold its own. And the fine print gets one shade darker. With no reserve, the fallback plan in any real crisis is buy food fast. On the same global market everyone else's crisis is buying from, with everyone else's cash. But none of that is the part that should change what you do tonight. This is because there's one more reserve to audit. Your cities. Modern grocery stores run on a system called just-in-time. Nothing waits in a back room anymore. The back room is a truck on a highway, time to arrive as the shelf empties. It's brilliant, efficient, and it means the store you rely on holds, by commonly cited industry estimates, about 3 days of food at normal buying speed. Panic buying? Hours. You've seen the videos. 2020 taught everyone what a supply chain looks like when confidence blinks. Planners in Britain have a phrase for this, that civilization is only ever 9 meals from anarchy. 9 meals, 3 days. That's the actual buffer between a normal Tuesday and a very different Thursday. So stack the picture. National Reserve, a bank account that shrinks on contact with crisis. Regional Reserve, trucks in motion. Local Reserve, 3 days of shelf. Follow the chain all the way down, and it ends at one door. Yours. Here's the reframe this entire story has been walking toward. The Strategic Food Reserve didn't disappear in 2008. It was relocated, from government silos to your kitchen. Nobody announced that either. You are the reserve now. The only question is whether you're a funded one. So funded, calmly, the way a nation should have. 3 moves. 1. Depth before drama. Skip the bunker fantasy. 2 weeks of food your family already eats. Rice, beans, oats, canned goods, salt, oil. Then stretch it to a month, 1 grocery trip at a time. Boring beats impressive. Even FEMA's own guidance now tells families to hold supplies. You're not being paranoid. You're being policy. 2. Rotate like a granary. The ever-normal granary worked on one rule. Buy surplus, cycle it, never let it rot. Eat the oldest, replace with the newest. A reserve you rotate costs almost nothing. A reserve you ignore is future trash. 3. Hold what money can't chase. 2008's lesson was that cash gets weak exactly when food gets scarce. A sack of rice doesn't reprice itself. Store the calories, not the currency, and learn the 2 or 3 skills that stretch them. Bread from flour, meals from staples, nothing wasted. 70 years of granaries, sold in fine print. Oil reserved, medicine reserved, food converted to cash. Half the world's grain sitting in someone else's silos, 3 days of food sitting in yours, and a chain of responsibility that now ends, whether you agreed to it or not, at your kitchen door. They never replaced the reserve. So be the replacement. The fox stays dark. Stay sharp.